my dear friends, can you believe it? 2022 is just about over, and it has turned out to be one of my best treasure relic artifact hunting years that I've had for a really long time, like way back in 1989. But I have a lot of it to thank my buddy Gil Alberg for, because he shared an amazing site with me, the old dump site, which I've told you, which I've been showing you. And Gil actually found the site thanks to his dog Freddie, who discovered several marbles in the trail a number of years ago. So thanks Freddie, and thanks Gil. Now, I like to do some kind of wrap-up video each year of the things that I find, and I'm going to share with you my 10 favorite finds from 2022. Let's count them down together, beginning with number 10. And number 10 is this 1970 smiley face cookie jar, found in March of 2022, of course. This item is not so uncommon, but it was filled with silver dollars and wadded up 1976 $2 bills when I found it. And I found this at a house cleanout, and everything was put out to the street, and Gil, David, and I were given permission to go through the stuff and take whatever we wanted. They didn't want to know what it was. They just said, go ahead and take what you want. And we did. A lot. Now, the next one is number 9, of course, was actually a Gil find from this same house cleanout, and that was pretty cool. So number 9, here are 2 awesome coins that Gil found. First, in 1853, braided hair large Liberty 1-cent piece. 1853. Amazing history if that coin could just only talk, but it can't. And then the second is a 1921 Morgan silver dollar. Both very beautiful coins, both very nice coins, but that wasn't the limit of the money that he found. He ended up finding more in actual currency and coins than I did, which is fine. Number 8, Memorial Day. I was dropped off at a farm field in Bridgeport, Michigan, just short ways from here, and I promptly got lost. I got lost in the farm field. The site skirts the Cass River. Now, it had been over 20 years since I had been at this site, and but once I got my bearings, it took about 45 minutes. Once I got my bearings, I laid in for a sandy blowout area in that area, among many woodland era pottery shards and flint flakes, I found a complete half, as you're seeing now, of a Hopewell style spear point, which would have been about 3 inches long, and it had been split right down the middle, probably broken during use, but they repurposed it, and this is a very nice knife. It would have been hefted onto a handle and would be excellent at cutting. It is sharp now as the day that it was created, as much as several thousand years ago. Now, number 7. From the woodland dump site Gil and I have been working came this totally unexpected sterling silver lobster pin. It was laying about 1.5 feet underground, and it was shiny and clean when I picked it up. Now, I've never been one to find what you'd call precious or semi-precious metals. So I didn't recognize it for being silver, but Gil saw it right away and pointed out to me what it was. It's a very cool piece, and one of 4 sterling silver pieces that I found there at the dump site. Number 6. Now, this is a fairly recent find. It is a 1920s, 1930s large glass store container, likely filled with candy or peanuts, and was set on the store counter. I remember these when I was a very young kid, 5 or 6, at Garshitsky's store in Bridgeport, Michigan, at the corner of State Street and the Dixie Highway, mom and pop store. And I remember candy displays like this in their store. So that was kind of cool to find. It took Gil and I about half an hour to free this from the ground, as it was so embedded with tightly packed dirt, it just would not budge. And it was big enough that it gave us a problem. But we got it out without a scratch, and it had to be on the top 10 list. Number 5. This is a German silver handle for a late Victorian beaded handbag. It is quite ornate with scenes or vignettes of Victorian life. Now, I later recovered a second one, but it's not quite as ornate as this one. Now, this is made out of German silver, if I didn't say that. And German silver, I can't remember what's mixed in with it, but it has something else mixed in with it. It's not quite the quality of sterling silver, but it's still a good quality. Number 4, this lovely green glass bottle tumbled out of the side of one of my dig holes at the dump site. And it looks older than it actually is. It looks like, I mean, when I saw it, I thought, oh, wow, this is 1860s, 1870s. But it turned out to be from the 1930s, and it contained mint sauce, you know, the kind you would use on lamb and such meats like that. And only moments after I found this, Gil found an incredible piece, which he gave to me later, that is number 1. So you will have to hang on a few moments to see what it is. I'm going to say a word about Gil here. I'll flash up a picture here of him. He is generous to a fault. I mean, in this entire digging these past 2 months, basically all he's kept were marbles. He loves marbles, and he's got an awesome grandson, about 3 years old. His name is Edsel, and he's filled a jar with the marbles that him and I have found at this site in the 2 months that we've been going out there, and he's going to present those to his little grandson. So that ought to be fun. You just see a kid's eyes light up when they see all the wonderful colors that are there. All right, number 3. This was not found in the ground, but rather at a yard sale about a block from where David and I live here. It is an awesome antique hand-cranked glass butter churn, probably from the 1920s. It would have been on your countertop, and you could have just put your cream in there and just started cranking it and crank out your own butter. But the cost for the piece was awesome also, because I only paid $4 for it, and it's in beautiful condition. And now I consider that just as much as something that comes out of the ground as treasure found. Number 2, this is a small collection of military pieces, again from the dump site where Gil and I found a lot of these pieces. Well, and the one piece is a lead paratrooper toy. Soldiers were made out of lead and painted back in the 40s for little boys to play with. And this was a paratrooper, which is a rare piece. And but we found it in 2 pieces. It was broken. So I found the upper half with the parachute and the guy holding onto it at one place, and about 10 feet over, Gil, I'll be damned if he didn't pull up the base to it. So what you see in the picture is that paratrooper put back together, and I think it's a pretty cool piece. So, as I said, I dug the top half, and it was actually several weeks before Gil found the bottom half. And also in this mini collection of military items that we found are World War II Army buttons, World War II Navy buttons, and a sharpshooter badge. And I feel like the individual who served in World War II that wore those should be honored, and I feel like those pieces should be honored and kept and displayed nicely. Number 1. Drum roll. Right after I had found the green mint sauce bottle, I heard Gil exclaim, "Wow, Dennis, you're going to want this!" And he was right. It was a figural glass bottle of a cat. Now, this was just a few days after Charlie Cat had passed away, and I sort of felt like it was a gift from Charlie Cat to me, even though Gil gave it to me and found it. It was just a remarkable coincidence because I've never found anything like it in the 40-some years that I've been out digging for relics and artifacts. It is a cool piece, and it reminds me of my little baby boy Charlie. And originally, it contained syrup for some sort of soda pop. So that's the top 10. But I have a bonus one here that I would be remiss if I didn't include this in this video. This is one of my favorite finds too, and it is a late 1920s, 1930s lead race car from Gil'S. And it's very stylized, as you can see, in pretty great shape considering the decades and decades that it laid in the ground. And like so many other pieces that fell from the side of the hole that I had been digging, it just was, when I go out there and I find something like that, I feel like a kid at Christmas time. Gil once told me he thought him and I got along so well is because neither of us ever grew up. And I think that's true in a lot of ways. And we enjoy the same things, and we enjoy going out and hunting for dead or long buried or forgotten things, and it's a lot of fun. So that there you have it. There have been so many finds this past year. It really was difficult to pick out my favorites. And then there are still a few weeks left of 2022, believe it or not, and the ground is still not frozen. And Gil and I went back out today, made a few interesting finds, nothing spectacular, but who knows? 2022 may still produce a wow factor item that would jump to #1. If that happens, I'll let you know. Thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoyed this. I always enjoy getting together with y'all. I love y'all very much, and God willing, I'll see you again real soon. Take care. Bye. Much love.